Alright, Quinn, so we're in. Just talk about stuff until I can get the link up and stuff.
Alright, let me just get her open on my computer.
And you have the doc and stuff.
Yeah, obviously.
Cool.
I'm
2
gonna
plus
need
4
that
times
one.
5 is here. Already.
Hello, 2 plus 4 times 5. Hey, Vale. Vale's also here.
Email. So, finally, we are starting. And let me start the chapter art speed draw.
I'm kind of excited to see this speed draw.
Yeah. The other one's really short. I didn't watch it, but the file's only like 30 seconds long. This one's like a normal length one where it's a couple minutes. It's, I think, 2.5. But, yeah. Vic was talking about drawing, like, being able to draw women better, like, in portrait and profile, like, close up, and then men better, like, far away, full body. And so I think, I don't know if this was related to that, but just the way that she portrayed Sophia reminded me of the fact that we had talked about it, like, the day before she drew this.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Greg.
Hey,
Greg
Greg.
is unfortunately in a coffee shop, I believe, due to power outage. So.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
Did Victoria say why she, like, finds it easier to, like, draw women, but, like, men far away? Or is it just...
I don't know. I think it's just something that she's working on.
Just a thing?
Like,
Okay.
just doing... She's just gonna do it till she can do it well, I think. Was the impression I got.
Yeah, that's funny.
Like,
I didn't know.
Yeah. I wouldn't have guessed, honestly.
Yeah, right.
But, yeah, power went out 8 this morning. Company says it won't be back on until 4 p.m. Oof.
Rough.
Yeah. Well, depending on when you're heading home and when this ends, I might be able to, well, I don't know. This will probably go longer because we started a little late, but, anyway, moving past that,
Yes.
if you want to ride later, kind of let me know, Greg, because I'm already going to go over to your house. So, yes, as the, we never, like, say the name of this program because I don't like it that much, but this is Write Once, Read Many, the, stream about Worm, chapter to chapter, and, this is going to be about 7.5 and 7.6 with Quinn.
Yeah, all worm things related.
Yeah. Oh, Vale likes the name. That's nice.
I like the name.
I'm glad that you guys like the name. But I came up with it because I needed... It was like a placeholder. I had the idea to stream, and I wanted to do it right away before I decided not to or forgot about it, or... I'm very fickle. Yeah. So I made myself do it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great name, William.
Thank you. But 2 plus 4 times 5 says, yeah, it took me a while too. Yeah. So for this week's audience participation reminder, just wanted to let everybody know it's the talk about the kiss and the rejection.
Oh, you hate those two words together.
Yeah. And then for the themes, there are definitely more, like, bullying and compartmentalization, though, right off the bat. Like, compartmentalization, the way she thinks about, like, talking to Brian later, I kind of feel like it's very, like, if I just don't think about this, then it will be fine. And then at the same time, she's like, I need to think through what I'm going to say to Brian.
Yeah, because like, yeah, there's like a part where she's like, I'm trying my best to like not think about it. She's like, but then like I thought about it, and she was like, it's gonna be like way harder the longer I wait to do this. It's like she
Exactly.
knows. Like she's just, I get it though. Like I feel like everyone's kind of in a situation like that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and then the bullying, very obvious. Like Sophia's straight up in this chapter, like physically attacking her.
Yeah, like it's pretty brutal. I was honestly not expecting it to go like down like that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like a retaliation attack for like past um prosecuted bullying, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because like for the one time they're caught, then she drives it up like this. So Greg says Taylor just needs to give in and lapse into caveman speak. Exactly. Um, me like Brian. Brian like Taylor. I think yeah, it could work.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I'm kind of down for this. Probably would have
Um,
gone a lot better than how it did go.
yeah, yeah. Actually, I think it would have been like a superior approach. Not to say that it's like the peak approach, but like
Yeah.
better, trending in the right direction. Um, did you have any more that you kind of had thought about that had percolated?
Not like especially like I was thinking like I don't know if that's really a theme, but like rejection. But I mean that's so many like really small part of it, I guess. And we already have rejection up here, so I just was like, eh.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess yeah, I can't really think of any. I guess just like maybe like thinking about the past or just like past things coming up.
yeah.
If that's like a theme, I don't know.
Hmm. 2 + 4 × 5 says better than suddenly kiss him and then not explain why until like 20 minutes later.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, like I'm saying, what I'm positing 2 + 4 × 5 is even in the scenario where you're explaining it at the end of 2.6, the caveman speak would still be superior to
Hmm.
the actual words used.
I'm agreeing with this.
Yeah, yeah. So, that's how far I would go. Um, by the way, I wanna compliment the art. I think it's really like a nice color palette. It's really interesting looking. And I wasn't sure what was going to get drawn for this chapter uh, initially. Vic had sort of said, like, oh, I should have read ahead. I wish I had not done Brian last chapter so I could do him this chapter, and then Sophia on 7.6. And then she kind of does Sophia in both of them. Um, but I mean, given that I was like, okay, so it's not going to be Brian, I didn't know what we'd see, and I don't know, it's cool.
Yeah, I like it. And something funny is you'll see it like as we kind of read through Victoria's notes, but there's like a part where they like describe where they like get on there and then they describe them as like standing. And Victoria has like little like brackets and she's like, why are they standing like on a bus? She's like, maybe it's like a trolley, I don't know. So it's like funny to see her like have those like write that out and see her like draw it. I'm like, oh okay. Now I see what she was saying.
Yeah, but also like I think on a lot of overtaxed bus systems, people have to stand. Like I've certainly even like when I rode the bus in as a teenager to get to school across town before I could drive. um, then I had to like stand not frequently but sometimes, and like we don't exactly have like a heavily used public transportation system, so like I imagine in
Hmm.
like a big city that it would happen a lot. The
Yeah, you're
few
probably
times I
right.
used public transportation in Seattle, I feel like we chose to stand just to not have to try and find seats as a group, because there was like pretty pretty often it would be like pretty full. I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah, I see what you're saying. I agree.
Um, but yeah, and like all shows set in New York, you watch the people stand.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
so but yeah. pretty cool. And then do you want to start or do you think I should? I think we can get into 7.5.
Um,
Oh, I forgot. Greg had said the Dutch angle emphasizes how off balance Taylor truly feels. So,
uh,
but,
um,
mhm.
how about you start?
Okay. Brian declares that the E88, that with the E88 pissed and having just had a fight with them, the gang needs to flee the loft. He tells Lisa to contact Coyle, get them transportation, and have him make a statement to the E88 that he was responsible for the doxings. Lisa doesn't think he'll agree to the confession, but she'll try her best. Brian tells Alec and Lisa to join Rachel and the dogs to hunker down in one of her shelters. Taylor and Brian will stay at Brian's apartment. Oh my
Ooh.
god, spicy.
Um, yeah, but then before Taylor can get too deep into I'm gonna start over. Before Taylor can get too deep into an anxiety spiral about this proclamation, Alec claps back at Brian. The fuck? Alex spoke. You're telling us to get out of here, stay in someplace random with a bunch of stray dogs while you go home and kick back?
Too true, King. Brian lets Alec know that he's pissed at him for not answering his phone earlier, and he's lucky he won't be around him. Taylor cuts in that they should all stay together, but Lisa agrees with Brian's plan. They're way too sus altogether. They could be easily recognized as a group, and if one group runs into trouble, the other group can come in for backup. Which, this is a thing that will happen frequently throughout the length of the book. Like,
Some things never change.
yeah, I don't know. That's like Parahumans 101. It's like, I don't know. I
What
guess
is
you can
what?
all group up, but there's like specific stuff where people think about like you can't have too many forces in one place; they'll all get wiped out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the chat 2 + 4 × 5 says splitting the party. Good plan. And then Greg, yeah, that never causes problems.
Listen, guys, in Parahumans, it's actually not a bad plan. Like sometimes it's better to have everybody together, and sometimes it's not. In D and
Basically,
D,
anywhere else,
always
bad
have the
plan though.
party all together all the time.
Yeah. um. Anyway, continuing. Taylor's like, anyways, can you guys figure out the plan while I go take a shower? Classic M move, to be honest. When I read this line, when I read this line for the first time, this is in Victoria's point of view. I was like, holy shit, she's going to shower at Brian's, then something sexy will happen. But no. Taylor takes a highly inconvenient shower, then puts on the bottom half of her costume, tying the rest around her waist, before layering her civvies over that. She makes sure to still somehow manage to wear a cute crop top, as is customary to wear at Brian's. We all know the rules.
Yeah.
She goes back to Brian, casually collecting some bugs to sit between her costumes and clothes.
Um.
I kind of agree with Victoria. I was a little upset that like something didn't happen, but it makes sense later
But
in the chapter why.
she's also pre-planning to uh well, one, she needs to take a shower because she like literally just had the poop bugs on her from the last
Oh,
chapter.
that's true.
So like this is kind of mandatory. But two is that like uh I don't know. She is preemptively trying to keep something sexy from happening because she's like, I'm too awkward. I can't handle it.
That is true.
So, um, then Taylor notes that Brian looks hot before they leave, which Lisa clearly notices. Um, and I mean, clearly Taylor notices Lisa noticing. So, um, Taylor and Brian leave the loft and walk toward the bus stop together. I'm gonna read this part, and then if you want to do the whole big, like all this
This
next.
thing.
Brian asks if he's being paranoid. Taylor replies that when it comes to capes, there's no such thing as being paranoid. But yes, the others will think he's being paranoid.
I just realized, Brian spoke. I never asked you if you even wanted to stay over. I looked up at him. I wasn't sure how to answer without conveying my full feelings on the subject. Keep it simple. I do. It's totally fine. I roll. um, so Brian explains that the others in the team and his sister have complained about him being bossy, but Taylor doesn't seem to mind it all too much.
Winky
Uh,
face.
yeah, a little winky, winky face. Taylor says that he has a sick apartment and that she'd be happy to have him decorate hers when she gets a place. And Brian, of course, reminds her that she still owes him a costume. And so yeah, they just kind of have a little chit chat, and while they're chit chatting, Taylor starts thinking about how dreamy Brian is and begins to blush. She tries
She's
to
getting a
distract
little
herself,
blush.
just a little blush. She tries to distract herself, knowing that she's going to embarrass herself if she keeps this shit up.
Yeah.
How she's like 15, right?
Yeah, she turned 16 within a month of this scene. Um
Okay.
there's a point at which she's turned 16 and her life has been so intense she's just like, "Oh, I didn't know my birthday had passed already."
Oh, I'm 16.
Yeah. So, it just sort of happens in the rear view at one point and it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Um In fact, like, the thing that was happening on her birthday was probably one of various, like, really, really horrible events.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah.
Great.
Uh, but anyway, the bus arrives and the two load in. Taylor's sitting down and Brian's standing next to her. On a bus? Do people stand on buses? Maybe it's more of a trolley, I don't know. Close enough to be touching. Taylor has seemingly come to the conclusion that even though she's not Brian's type, which literally no one has ever said, or has said ever, she can enjoy his company and casual body contact.
But wait. Suddenly, Sophia enters the scene. That
I
bitch is
didn't
wearing a
prep it.
weird ass tennis outfit. Taylor stares at her through multiple bus stops like a psycho, but hasn't been noticed back yet.
I just thought to myself I really should have gotten the Challenger approaches noise from Smash Bros to
But wait.
yeah.
Do you want to do the quote? Or do you want me to do the quote?
I'll do the quote and then you do the two mini paragraphs.
Okay.
She was Emma's best friend, the person who had shoved me into the locker. Back on the day I'd gotten my powers. On countless occasions, she'd pushed me and tripped me, often several times a day. She'd knocked me down the stairs when I was near the bottom of the flight, even got others to do similar things. Given that she'd been suspended after my last meeting with her, I somehow didn't think she'd walk away with confrontation, or without confrontation if she saw me.
Taylor finds that her body is poised for battle. Sophia gazes out the windows, then moves on to the interior of the bus, giving Brian a long, hard appraisal that disgusts Taylor. Women only want one thing, and it's fucking disgusting.
So Vic is uh jokingly, hopefully, very sexist against women sometimes. So we can only hope that she jokes.
Yeah, we're still not sure, but we hope. Uh, Taylor is startled out of her state when the person seated to her left gets up to exit the bus. Taylor moves into the empty seat and gestures Brian to sit to her right, which he does.
I reached up, put a hand on his shoulder, used it to rise high enough to murmur in his ear. Do me a mega huge favor? I'll explain after. You gotta do the Brian voice for his one line.
Of course.
His voice was barely audible over the noise of the bus. He turned his head, just enough to look me in the eye, and my heart skipped a beat. Just play along.
And then she kisses him. The fuck? Instead of fireworks, though, Taylor feels the tension melt out of her. She breaks away and gives Brian a small shake of the head before he can say anything. When she looks to find Sophia, she's no longer at the front of the bus. She's now in the back, staring at Taylor. Taylor gives her a moment's eye contact, then manages to look away.
I had taken Lisa's advice, trying to improvise, be more impulsive. I had also done as Bitch had suggested. I'd let Brian know I was interested. Kind of. Not to the extent she'd suggested, but it was something. Definitely something. It
I
was
guess just like
definitely
kind of.
something, Taylor. um, and then, let's see here. Then Vic didn't have a note about this, but at the very bottom there was, uh, Taylor worrying, except I just forced matters with Brian, and now I not only had to explain, but I had to deal with a night of awkwardness in his company, on top of the threat of action from Empire 88. The fan fictions ensue. Um, and yeah, this is a kind of a short summary of the chapter, but I mean, a lot of it's just like Brian worrying and stuff. Like he's worried that they'll lay siege, or Taylor's worried that they'll lay siege to the docks. Or no, Brian is in more like expressive terms. I guess they both are. Lisa and
Yeah.
Alex super downplay it, and then there's just a lot of back and forth between them. That sort of got skipped past, but it is my fault for being so mega huge behind on the script too. Um, Greg says, "Do me a mega huge favor. I'll explain after." Rips off his clothes and throws him down right there. Vale says, "This is the last thing Taylor would have remembered, cringing for decades as she fell asleep if she didn't have powers and more mistakes to make in the future." Yeah. Um, let's see here. Yeah, do you got any chapter thoughts on this? Since you are our stream's new reader.
I am. Let me kind of look back at the chapter real quick. There was one specific part that I wanted to bring up. I did like this chapter overall though. But I agree with what you were saying. I was like kind of mostly just like Brian worrying, and I was like I don't like. I guess we could have just pulled a bunch of quotes about that, but I felt like we would have just kind of ran out of things to say.
Yeah, and I already I mean, we still talk about it a lot in the next chapter because I was in like a flow. I wasn't writing fast, but I did write a lot.
Yeah, I was looking through yours. I was like, damn, you read a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, more is better. um, I don't know. I looked through the chapter. I can't find it, but I'll kind of keep looking if I do find it. But yeah, I did kind of like this chapter. It was kind of nice. I mean, it wasn't nice, but it was kind of like it was cool to see Sophia like come back. When I saw her, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. And like it's a big step them kissing. It's like a weird situation, but
Right. It's like
but
I don't know.
I've always been of the opinion that she's not like she's kind of doing the Sophia thing, which is like bad, like doing it because Sophia's there. But I also think it's giving her like the spite to be able to do what she wanted to do regardless.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, let's not pretend like Taylor didn't already want to kiss Brian regardless of. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that would be a
But
silly way
yeah.
to view it, I think.
I see what you're saying. How she was like kind of being like a bad person doing the fucking Sophia thing, but
Yeah, I mean, from her perspective, like it's so focused. Like the background of everything that happens, she keeps, as Vic points out, being like, "Brian's so dreamy. He's the hottest guy."
yeah.
Vale says Taylor's such an outgoing, confident lass. She didn't need an excuse. Yes, that's our girl. Outgoing.
That sounds like Taylor, all right.
Um, all right, I think I'm gonna hop into 7.6. So about that favor I just did you, Brian began. Taylor puts off having the conversation with Brian, even though she thinks it'll be harder to do later. Don't worry about your problems. They just go away when you're not thinking about them, right? She can't even decide between telling him about Sophia or going for broke and just telling him about her feelings for him.
And then they leave the bus with the crowd and head on foot into this mini mall. Not a strip mall, but not a place with any major chains, apparently. Taylor thinks there are more people than she expected this early in the afternoon. Then she realizes it's mostly college students around. Brian lets Taylor know they have half an hour before the next bus comes to his house, but he's not rushed and says they can stay longer if they want. He came here for bus tickets and food for the apartment now. Now there are two people. Taylor was going to grab some supplies, but Brian already has what she needs, so she'll head to the bookstore.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's our Taylor. Going to the bookstore.
Yes, a real Bella Swan. Um, the places they're going are in the same direction, so they awkwardly walk together in silence. Like, I mean, they're such weirdos. Outside of an electronics store, a crowd has built up because of the news story that's playing on the TV. Taylor has a hard time even finding a spot to look at the screens. There are so many people around. It's another broadcast about the revealed identities of Empire 88. They flick through the footage of different powered members. 15 capes get named here, and I think it's the full roster of their powered guys, but Taylor says the list goes on, but I think the rest are like the highest ranking unpowered people. And because I didn't want to write them out here, I just put the list on the characters section so we can be like, these are all the noobs they'll have to contend with.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I saw that. I saw it at the end. I was like kind of confused. I was like, damn. I was like, I don't remember like any of these guys showing up in this chapter. I was like, we're gonna have to write about this.
No,
So that
no,
makes
yeah.
sense.
They'll be appearing in the near times.
Ooh, I like some of their names. They have some cool names.
They are the white supremacists, so uh,
Oh,
you
well.
know. Uh, but So Vale says, Brian, do me a favor, just play along. Taylor's second most embarrassing moment as she closes her eyes and purses her lips. All the while, Brian was helping negotiating with Coyle. And then Greg says, the Empire really did not see that coming. Oh boy.
Yeah. So William says, these are William's words in my
Mm-hmm.
mouth.
Yes, yes.
I think the description of the news broadcast is kind of fun. There's a crappy little header image of Max Anders with a swass followed by a question mark above him. Some news anchor talks for a second, then it goes to Arms Master, Miss Militia, and some suit giving a press conference. The whole thing is done without any of the news audio, but it fully conveys what it needs to. Brian points out the obvious that if Empire 88 didn't know about this before, they do now.
Mm-hmm. I just think it's like a cute little, like, it totally. I know exactly what this looks like on the
Yeah.
TV screen, or from Taylor's perspective, or from Brian's perspective. A bystander, like this scene is set. Uh,
No, I can like physically like see this scene, just like I can totally imagine this in my head.
yeah. So yeah, I think some of and again, like he develops his writing chops through the whole book, like we've said in the past. But we're starting to see kind of really good examples of that. Not that we have, not, but I really like this. So,
Yeah.
um, they move on and text Lisa about the news broadcast. Already knowing the scoop, they won't find anything new here. Once Taylor thinks they're out of other people's earshot, she says she thinks Coyle's bomb drop, the news bomb, crosses a line, but she understands why it's a smart play. all of the opposition from Empire 88 are distracted by this, as well as the heroes on the other side. So they're like fighting each other. And he has he does have to lose the Undersiders being like pinned down by this uh, for now, but it's not like that big a deal to him. And like they're in play as something he could fully lose. But again, it's not that big a deal to him. And then who's left in the city to oppose him right now? Like there's the merchants who are like the shittiest gang that hold, you know, you know, turf in the areas that they don't really matter, stuff like that. And they can be pushed out in a way that like Empire 88 is hard because there's like 4 merchant capes and like 15 Empire 88 capes.
Yeah, so I mean,
Um so it's a whole thing. And then because the other teams, there's like Fault Line's crew, but she is a mercenary who just has like 1 or 2 properties. So,
yeah,
um, yeah, so it's really like crazy how well like this suits his plans. So,
yeah, I like that. Um, but yeah, and then Brian agrees that outing civilian identities does cross a line. And I think, based on a lot of his early story actions, that he's a big believer in the unwritten rules, kind of like Lisa and Victoria, where they pretty much buy into the cops and robbers thing. They all have their own specific idea of what that means, but they believe in the rules of the game. Um, but yeah, I agree. I definitely think Brian is like a honor amongst thieves kind of guy.
mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
he is obviously, but like, yeah, you can definitely tell that just from like his past and stuff.
Yeah, and it's like they don't always even live up to their own ideals, but they do believe in this stuff on like a gut level that
Uh,
yeah, I think. So,
yeah,
but yeah, Taylor sees the bookstore and heads in. She reflects on how being around Brian feels tense because there's a spiral of her wanting to look cool in front of him because she likes him, then becoming increasingly self-conscious and quiet, then getting lost in this like misery spiral of awareness of how dumb and uncool she seems to, or she must look to him. And then the only time she felt like she was really nailing it was during the kiss. And then there was that moment. The kiss had been so nice, settling my thoughts, giving me a sense of tranquility for that all too brief moment. Yeah.
I love how she feels like she was really nailing it during the kiss, and I was like, oh, Taylor, it was not a, it's not a great choice.
Yeah.
But then she remembers that the kiss is how she started this particular spiral of awkward feelings. And after she remembers that she was supposed to not be thinking about having to talk to Brian later, and she remembers that
That
I'm
since she
getting tripped
hasn't
up.
been thinking about it,
She hasn't been thinking. Okay, she
that
was supposed to be not. Has this was supposed to be hasn't?
no. She was. This is a joke about how she's like double thinking herself. She's supposed to not be thinking about talking to Brian later, and so but remembering about not thinking about it also makes her remember that she is supposed to be
Oh,
thinking
okay.
about
I
it
see what you're saying. I
because
see
she
what you're
doesn't have a
saying.
plan. What a disaster.
I was getting tripped up on that sentence for some reason.
Yeah, sorry. I thought I would. I had the cadence of the paragraphs wrong and thought I'd be doing this one, so that's my bad.
No, you're good.
Um, but yeah, that's why I ended the paragraph with "What a disaster! Things just keep getting worse."
Yeah.
Um, Taylor thinks that she likes his company, then sort of lets herself think about how she likes him. Read here as has a crush, but goes into an embarrassed state just thinking about him. But importantly, she needs a break from the high intensity feelings of like being directly near him so she can pull herself together and think of how to explain this whole thing to him.
Oh, Taylor. Taylor is upset with the lack of organization of this used bookstore. It seems that everything generally feels off to her. The sci-fi books are all just piled into fantasy. All nonfiction is one category. The lack of organization displeases Taylor. There's a musty smell to the place and book piles on the floor. Taylor notes the only person in the bookstore is the elderly black man sitting behind the counter watching a courtroom TV show at high volume, the TV ruining any amount of atmosphere that might be left here after her earlier complaints.
She checks out some of the fantasy section, thinks about how she doesn't like romance or mystery for being too samey, and then goes to the back section to look for the dog psychology book she thought of to learn about Rachel. Then the guy at the front yells, "Don't be shoplifting because you think I'm not paying attention." And not knowing what to say, Taylor just says, "All right." I think it's a
Yeah.
really funny moment, like her just being like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, she's so awkward.
Yeah.
Somehow Taylor just magically finds the exact book she needs here, which honestly seems bonkers to me. And Vic even brought it up when we were talking about the chapter this week. We both
Yeah.
thought it was kind of funny. Sorry, were you saying something?
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, like again, this was me writing all this nonsense, so
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, she picks up the book and looks through a few more, looking at a tailoring book. Is that why she's called Taylor?
Yeah.
The Origins of Taylor.
Yeah, exactly. Someone touches Taylor's hair, and she's like, "What is happening?" Question mark mouth face. She thinks for a second it's Brian, but is even weirded out by that, and tries to turn around. Then the hand seizes her ear and pulls. She gets shoved over, and her ear gets torn as the attacker holds on. Taylor collapses on a book pile and can't even tell if the ear is still grabbed or not because of the pain and unfamiliar sensations. Her attacker has a knee in her side and the body weight pressed onto the side, and nails digging into Taylor's face hard enough that her teeth are her teeth inside Taylor's mouth are digging into the skin that's being like pressed into it, and at the same time her face is being shoved into one of the book piles on the floor. So she's getting really like it's like a hold using two hands and a knee. Like it's a really good hold. Taylor is fucked.
Yeah. I don't remember how Sophia sounds, but I'm just gonna make something up.
Angry.
Angry. Something you should know about me. Sophia's voice was dulcet. The reason is that how you say that?
Yeah, but dulcet is the way that she would have sounded. So she'd be more like, "Something you should know about me. The reason I'm such a good runner. It's not that I'm driven to win. It's that I really, really hate losing." I think I'm realizing as the lines are going there, that's probably how it is.
She kind of talks like a movie villain.
Yeah, exactly.
Sophia pulls Taylor's ear again, changing directions, and Taylor gets worried her ear will rip off. Taylor's failing to get anything done, not finding purchase on anything with her hands or knees, because of all the floors on the book. Because all the floor books. Jesus, I am reading like shit today.
Cool.
I think it's like my monitor. I have it like at an angle, and let me change it.
Well, the other thing is I wrote this in kind of like a weird way. I was just like letting it flow out, so that's why there's so fucking much.
But yeah, she can't get anything done because there's a lot of floor books. So I was trying to say. Sophia finishes what she was saying a moment ago, and I hate losing the most when it's to a depressing queef like you. As she finally starts getting her fingernails to stab right through Taylor's face skin.
I think that the reason she's using this tone of voice is to convey how far above Taylor that she sees herself, since she's so into the whole dominance mindset thing. I didn't write that down because I didn't think of it till just now. But
right.
Yeah. So,
I'm with you though.
And I have my bugs inside my jeans and backpack. I can end this. She's an anime protagonist now. In all italicized text, Taylor thinks to herself that she can use her power, but she doesn't actually act on it yet. Sophia uses the hand she's tearing and digging with to pick up and slam down Taylor's head into the pile of books. It wasn't the worst hit I'd ever taken, but it still left me reeling.
Yeah, definitely not the worst hit she's ever taken. I couldn't afford to take too many hits to the head. Though my concussion was more or less healed, I'd be susceptible to a relapse of symptoms and future concussions for a while yet. I just had to use my bugs to get her off me, buy myself some time to get my knife and baton, and then she realized again that she can't actually do that because she'd be discarding the secret identity card for good.
Yeah. Yeah. All up to the knife and baton is like quotes, and then that last little bit was just me summing up a couple more paragraphs of her being like, ugh.
Wait, I can't do that.
Yeah. Oh, 2 plus 4 times 5 says, I just zoned out for a moment. Why are Sophia's teeth inside of Taylor's mouth? And then Greg said, she asks Sophia for a mega huge favor. So Sophia finally lets go of her ear, but it's to put her hand over Taylor's mouth and wrench her head around so Taylor can see her face. Taylor uses a description that's kind of racially loaded. She looked like a panther, black-skinned, savage, teeth bared, and just a little as she panted. And maybe I'm giving her a pass too easy, but she does think of a lot of people in similar terms. Next week's chapter, she'll be fighting 3, like, angry, animalistic white supremacists who are tiger, cricket, and wolf. And she'll be attempting to join up with her comrades, angry dog teammate and smiling fox teammate. Regardless of all that, some of the things she thinks about Sophia would seem pretty sus in isolation, but we'll just move on from that.
Yeah, Taylor. I know we brought this up before, but sometimes she just like says some pretty like out of line stuff.
Yeah, popping off, and we're like,
She
oh, Taylor.
she's young though, so I mean like I kind of get it.
Yeah.
So here I am. Sophia starts tapping on his glasses. This is your reminder that everyone has their place in life.
Hebert.
Is that Hebert? Hebert and you should stick to yours. Trying to act better than you are only embarrasses you and irritates me. Get it? Sophia yanks Taylor's ear again, then says to nod if she understands. Taylor glares up and manages to grab as Sophia yanks Taylor's ear again. Oh fuck, dude. Grabs a hardcover book and drives the corner into Sophia's side. They both kind of flop around on the floor. Taylor tries to swing the book at her two-handed, and Sophia gets up and backs off so to keep the pressure up. Taylor turns a swing into a fling, and the book flies at Sophia, who knocks it away from her head, but has to just tank the hit with her arm.
Yeah, I mean, that would hurt a fucking lot. Like a hardcover book just flying at you full speed, and then you have to just block it.
Yeah, it's just like, it's gonna be at the corner, like, yeah, that would be terrible.
Yeah. So Greg said, of course Empire would choose powerful apex predators. The wolf, the tiger, the cricket. Vale says, you can't make a cricket stop talking, and it's hard to find where the noise is coming from. Covert ops.
He's like the espionage guy. I gotcha.
I'm gonna make you guess at some of their powers, because you don't know any of these fools.
Okay.
And then the next bit is, what the fuck is your derangement? I shouted at her. In what twisted perspective is it all right to stalk and attack someone because they kissed a boy? Taylor gets up without her backpack, ready to continue the fight. Sophia says it's not just that. It's that Taylor got her suspended, so she's off the track team. I need that shit. Which Taylor does not give a fuck about. Boo fucking who. If I knew it mattered that much to you, I would have written a letter to your coach days ago, just to drive the point home and make sure you never got back on the team. 1, way to go, girl. 2, 0% diplomatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sophia gave me a look of pure loathing. You're a coward, Hebert. A rat. You know you're a nerd. You're flat-chested, scrawny. Nobody likes you. Nobody wants you for a friend. You're not good at anything. So you run, you hide, skip school, stay quiet, don't do anything with your waste of a life. And if things get tough, if anyone decides to have a little fun at your expense, you go crying to the people in charge because you can't take it.
Taylor touches her ear and it stings, and she can feel the oozy blood that she sees on her fingertips when she brings them back in front of her face. Taylor tells Sophia it was Emma's dad who called the meeting in the first place and realizes she's more comfortable with the situation now that the ante has been upped. Now that blood's been broken, the rules are different.
Sophia says that.
Real quick, what do you think about this aspect of Taylor? Like a lot of people are I don't know, who are not normally violent in mindset, don't really understand this. I'm just where are you coming from on this? Her
Yeah,
whole
no,
idea
like
about yeah.
Specifically this part.
Yeah, about how the now that blood's been spilled, she's on more solid ground.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty it's like, what's the fucking phrase? Like talk shit, get hit type of deal. And she already fucking came at her first, and so now that there's already been a confrontation, I kinda like how Taylor's just like, alright, well fucking I'm just gonna go at it then. So it makes sense to me. I honestly
Yeah.
You're gonna fuck around, you're gonna find out,
As Greg says, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck around, find out.
It's funny that you both thought it at the same time. But yeah.
Oh, here I am. Sophia says that she still told someone, and Taylor says, "So what?" Asking if she was expected to put up with it. That's exactly what I expected. Sophia proceeds, threatening to hurt Taylor more to make the point clearer. Sophia starts to advance on Taylor, and she thinks through, and they're the same height, but Sophia is much stronger than her and weighs more due to the muscle and Taylor's lack thereof. Taylor thinks that, compounding the fact she's much more hurt than Sophia, she'll definitely lose if she doesn't use her weapons or power. But she's seemingly willing to get her ass kicked to do some damage to Sophia, if that's the only option. If that was how it turned out, I was okay with that.
Yeah, I pulled the direct quote that was almost exactly what I was.
Yeah.
So. A male voice cuts in and Brian is here as backup. Sophia stops and turns so Brian, who's setting his bag down to get ready for the fight, turns to see Brian. The boyfriend, says Sophia. Brian looks at Taylor concerned, probably because her face looks all bloody and fucked up. Meet Sophia, one of the girls that's been giving me a hard time at school. The look of concern disappeared from his face in an instant. It was replaced by anger.
Sophia starts instantly lining up a storm, and Brian cuts her off.
There is art. That's my bad. I didn't put in the art switch.
Oh shit!
It was in the scuff, and this is the one that's super short. I was wrong about the exact time. It's just under a minute, but it's still much shorter than the other speed draws. It's
Sorry, I'm just watching the. Okay.
Yeah, we can just watch the draw for a second.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's watch
fine.
It's pretty.
We're gonna talk about the image in a second anyway, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But in this version of events, the exact book that is being used for the battle is in fact the Doge book.
I see.
So yeah, this is when she's getting her head slammed into books or whatever, probably.
Hey, when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So Sophia starts instantly lining up a storm, and Brian cuts her off. Sophia stops when she realizes there won't be any fooling him, and Brian asks if she's okay, if Taylor's okay. She says her ear hurts, and she's not sure how much face damage there is, but she's fine. Sophia bolt past Taylor and using her track skills gets right the fuck out of there like it's nothing. Both of them try to run after her and grab her, but the shop guy gets in their way. He thought that Brian was coming here to help Sophia, or he wouldn't have let him back there. When Taylor says Sophia attacked her, the shop owner says he knows he let her back there because she told him that Taylor stole something from her on the bus. He had even turned up that already loud volume on the show to let it happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Greg says Taylor uses the book on dog training to teach that bitch a lesson. My God, got him.
That's
Um,
fucking funny.
Taylor feels super uncomfortable with the conclusion that the shop guy came to, that this was divided on racial lines. Taylor feels like a single instance of a really negative interaction and assumption about her based on her race, and is super uncomfy. But this is probably the shitty reality for all three of the other characters in the scene in their like day-to-day lives.
Yeah. Brian backs up Taylor's story, and bookstore guy just says he doesn't want any more fighting in his shop. Then Sophia runs out as her chance appears. Taylor and Brian spend the next few minutes arguing with the guy until they eventually just leave.
Hmm. I'd left the dog psychology book behind, I realized. That bummed me out as much as anything. I hadn't really won or lost as I saw it. Any injuries I'd sustained were balanced out by the fact that I'd fought back, and Brian had been there to back me up. Well, that was my gut feeling anyway. It was entirely possible that I'd change my mind after I saw how bad the damage was to my face and ear.
I put like pretty short notes, but I was just they're just like bullet
Mm.
point notes really.
Oh yeah, we'll just talk about them all. Them, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of just I kind of like how Taylor got to interact with like someone from way early in the book. I had honestly low key kind of forgotten about Sophia for a minute, just because like so much like big shit has been happening. It just like
Right.
I just kind of forgot about her. And so when she came back, I was like, oh shit, I forgot about this girl.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just like to see like old
And she's
characters
the
like
one
that come
who
back.
shoved Taylor in the locker when she got her powers.
Oh, okay, she's like the terrible one.
Well, Taylor sees Emma as the worst one, but Sophia's the most physically violent and is directly related to her like exact getting powers. So
Oh, okay, that's right, that's right, that's right.
they are all terrible. 2 + 4 × 5, but I would say that Madison is distinctly the least bad of the three.
Yeah, he is right though. They are all pretty terrible.
Madison's just like not even that good at it. And then 2 + 4 × 5 agrees.
He's like, yeah.
um.
um.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, but another thing I said was
Mhm.
I liked. I guess I probably should mention up here, but I liked how we finally got to see like Brian, like actually got to like deal with one of her bullies, and like it was like probably the first time she had like someone on her side, like in the moment of
Yeah.
being bullied. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and he was like a million times more useful than her dad because of just like the totally different scope of interaction possibilities here versus like in the school setting versus a parent versus like yada yada yada.
Right.
So, um, just for all these reasons, it goes completely different. Um,
Yeah.
and
And I
then
just have this small quote here that I pulled, but it's
yeah,
just so that's what you've been dealing with at school? He asked. But yeah, and that just kind of builds off what I was saying, how it's finally someone's getting to see like kind of what it was like for her at school.
yeah, and Taylor goes on to say that it's not this bad. This is the worst she's ever attacked her before, but that uh, that their bullying is still pretty relentless. So
Right, yeah.
yeah, um, and then I think isn't this after she's already confessing her feelings?
Yeah, I think I meant to pull a whole quote, but
Hmm. So I mean, just just talk about your general thoughts on the whole rest of the chapter. It's all kind of one blob.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, I guess she like or not convinces confesses to him. And what is it that he says? He's like, I could see you as like a really good friend, or he says he like sees her as kind of like a sister, someone he could like take care of, which is, it's terrible to hear, terrible to see, but
Getting Shrek'd.
yeah, exactly. She got Shrek'd, you might say.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I thought that was really sad, but I honestly don't know if I did expect it. Like, I kind of thought Brian was like going to want to date her, but so I guess that kind of caught me off guard. I just kind of thought like that was natural for that to happen, but
Yeah,
yeah.
Greg says, she kissed you and she says she likes you. Is she into you? Yeah, you really can't be sure. Maybe she's from Canada and she's just being polite.
You never really know.
Man, oh, that video is too real. The casually explained video about if a girl is into you, just no
Yeah,
matter what
that's
happens, no matter what the scenario is, it's just like, well, you really can't tell.
it's like, well, it could be anything, so
um, but
uh,
yeah. So
yeah.
I'll read this big quote from Brian here.
Blurb.
I think that's a well. We can go. We can kind of jump around. I think. But I
Yeah.
thought this is a good portion. Even when I was attending high school, I was always gone. The second classes ended. Meeting my dad at the gym, working, or going home to explain the costume burglary thing, or to plan some costume burglary thing or whatever, you know? I don't have much experience being around girls. I don't really think that much about the relationship thing. Outside of noticing when I see a good looking girl, it's something I always figured I'd get to later when I wasn't so preoccupied. So
Yeah,
like his
and
mindset is just totally different from Taylor's.
yeah, exactly. And I even like said that in my little blurb here. I just said he has like that mindset, grindset, where he's just like it's like admirable what he's doing, and he's like really trying to like work on it. But it's just sad that it's like, oh, that was him like at school. Which yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty normal for a lot of parahumans to kind of have a weird life like that. But I was just like, Brian, you deserve so much more.
Oh, Brian. Um, yeah, and then skipping back up to here when she was kind of confessing, and he was like, "You're so analytical." Brian offered me a smile, but he looked a little pained, going through the points step by step, like you're checking things off a list. That's not. I'm not trying to. I'm not criticizing you. I'm saying it seems very you.
I like that little interaction between them.
2 plus 4 times 5 says, does Brian deserve Taylor? Um, I feel like either of them could be roasted right now. Does he deserve to have to deal with Taylor?
I don't know if I would wish that upon Brian.
um, uh, how do you mean 2 plus 4 times 5? But in the meantime, do you wanna read any of these quotes or pull out any more of your own thoughts?
Yeah, I'll read this quote because it's heartbreaking. So, this is after like Brian's kind of explaining kind of how he feels about Taylor. But he's like, so if I gave you the wrong impression, I guess it's partially because I have no idea what I'm doing, and because I'm an idiot when it comes to stuff like that. I don't see you that way. It's more like you're my sister, someone I want to protect and help and support. I like you as a friend. I could even see us being best friends somewhere down the line. And then this is like Taylor's like monologue, like his sister, a friend. Yeah, and
As you said, you hate to see it.
you do hate to see it. You really do.
Yeah, 2 plus 4 times 5 said he was an oblivious jerk in this chapter, unintentionally, and then oof. Uh, broken heart, a good pal, says Vale. Yeah, the buddies.
Yeah, they could maybe be one best friends one day.
Yeah. Roasted.
I'm like, damn, Brian.
Yeah. But probably part of it from his perspective is that the 2 year age gap does not seem inconsequential to him. You know, they're almost
Yeah, I kind
exactly
of
2 years
forgot.
apart, but it 16 to 18 feels a lot friendlier than 15 to 17. Each year makes it seem like it's totally normal later on, but when you are a teen, each year is quite important.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So, um, and I mean, it'll make sense later on. Like the two characters who are the age closest side characters in the group really gravitate toward each other, because even though there's not that big of an age gap between any of the Undersiders, the two youngest ones will be like, um, yeah, she's 15 here, and he's 17 here. Um, his birthday is almost exactly the same as hers, Vale. Um, they turn 16 and 18 at roughly the same day. I think they're within a few of each other in the same month. I've looked at the timeline when I thought about this and was like, is this even sketchier than it seems? Um, but Greg says, I kind of understand Brian. He doesn't want to string her on. He's just not the best at letting her down. Yeah,
Yeah, he's just like inexperienced. I get it.
he's like, we will be friends.
Maybe best friends.
um, what a good. Anyway, so we'll just go. We'll skip to the chapter thoughts, the general chapter thoughts. I think this is a great one. There's so much that goes on. There's the fight. There's the rejection. There's the whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, I liked it. It was like action packed, but it wasn't like normal action packed. It was just like kind of in the trenches, fucking fighting because it was just like just like a street fight essentially.
Yeah,
Um,
she gets into some like brutal moments later on that are like civilian guys fight where she's just getting like intense with a knife. She's just like, I will fuck you up.
really?
Yeah. Not against like Sophia, but
Yeah.
it's still awesome. Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, there was like a little bit of everything in this chapter. There was like a little bit of romance. There's a lot of bit of heartbreak. There was a little bit of action. Um, there was suspense when we like first saw Sophia, and then she just was like gone for like a while until she fucking came back with a vengeance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh,
So yeah, I really liked this chapter.
Vale says she should have just taken Rachel's advice. Messed it up trying to incorporate Lisa's. Um, yeah, I think I'll move on to this little sub character section here, where we will play a silly game. Actually, we'll just move this whole thingamajig to the powers, knowledge, and world building, so we can joke about in there about like their stupid powers and who they are. So the characters from these two chapters, we'll start with the minor ones and move on to the major ones. There was Alec. What are your thoughts on this 7.5 Alec?
Kind of just classic Alec. Was fucking yelling, bitching, and moaning. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what
Mm-hmm.
else? I don't remember a whole lot about what he did this chapter.
He complains that he'll have to go stay with a dog in a ratty old shelter
Is
when
that all he
Brian
did?
gets to live at home. Um, he is slightly cowed by Brian's anger at the fact that he is still on the hook for not answering their Taylor's text message.
Okay. Then yeah, just kind of classic Alec, fucking little angry hothead.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. And
yeah.
then Lisa. Any thoughts on Lisa?
Lisa being Lisa, fucking supporting Taylor when she was like, there's that quote or whatever. It was like, Taylor like noticed that Brian was hot, and then I was like, Lisa noticed this as well, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I liked that. But yeah, just kind of I don't really have any strong feelings. I don't feel like they just didn't like do enough for me to.
They're not there that long. They are both
Yeah,
like
exactly.
they're very chill about the fact that the probably that like a whole white supremacist gang is after them, and not
Yeah,
like a small one like their gang, like a which is not really a gang because it's just like a parahuman team, but like a real one with not only a real gang but also with kind of more direct powers for murder.
yeah, like superheroes or capes, I guess. Not heroes, definitely not heroes.
Yeah, super villains, but like real bastards with like I mean, we know for instance Purity can just like fire a fucking spirally light beam that just wrecks shit up, you know?
Just has like a Spartan laser, but always.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, these two are pretty blasé about all that. And then Taylor's like, we gotta run. It's the only sensible option. And Brian says the same thing.
Yeah.
Then moving on to the actual major characters. There's Sophia.
Yeah. I like obviously Sophia's really bad this chapter, but she was like, ooh, it was kind of cool how she like came in. She just like didn't give a fuck. But I was kind of glad that Taylor,
And like she
yeah,
was really good at this stuff. She got the guy to turn up the show and stuff. So she had like cover for her actions, and then like she could most likely like get in, hurt Taylor a bunch, then get out like scot free. And she essentially did that. Uh,
yeah,
um, it's just she only got to hurt Taylor a little bit, a lot, not a lot, a
yeah.
lot. So
How unfortunate.
exactly. Um, and you know she's really fucking pissed about like the track thing specifically. Um, 2 + 4 × 5 says Sophia didn't give a fuck. Yes, she did. The only reason she assaulted Taylor is because she gives too much of a fuck about her. Um, yeah, yeah, okay, okay. In
Yeah,
that way, she gives a fuck, but she doesn't give a fuck about perpetrating the violence. Um, you know, uh, she is up for whatever. For revenge. She doesn't give a fuck in that regard. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Sophia.
Sophia, great person.
Mm-hmm. And then Brian. He is a lot goes on with Brian here. Um, you know, just re reveal your thoughts on Brian in these 2 chapters real quick for us.
Well, I still love Brian, even though he's kind of a little dork at the end. um, but I like how we get to just see how Brian's like definitely like a protector type. Of course, like just kind of based off his like backstory and stuff, he always has been. But it's kind of just cool to see that like in action right here. Um, like I said, he was a dork at the end, which is like it's not like necessarily his fault. But
Yeah,
it kind of hurt a little bit. I was like, oh, Brian.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I love Brian, and he can do no wrong.
There you go. You can do no wrong. Um, and then for the powers, knowledge, and world building section, we will do first. I will list the name of the douchebags who are on the other side. Kaiser, Purity, Fenya, Menya, Hookwolf, Krieg, Knight, Fog, Storm Tiger, Othala, Cricket, Rune, Victor, Alabaster, and Crusader. So you know from the story the powers of Kaiser, Purity, Fenya, Menya. You've heard what Hookwolf does, but not seen it. And then everybody else, I believe, is a mystery. So, any guesses at the powers for these guys? Even Hookwolf, if you forgot.
Hookwolf, I did forget.
Then what does that dick do?
Let's see. Hookwolf. I feel like he's gonna be like a fucking. Maybe he's like some sort of like shapeshifter. Like he can turn into like a wolf, and maybe he can have like a human hand with it or something. It's like hook wolf. I don't know.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That'd be a cool power.
So his power is to turn into a wolf, but he has one human hand.
Well, he has the wolf paws and then like a human hand, like just an extra appendage.
Okay, turns into a wolf plus one additional. Wow. Human hand. I love it. I fucking love it.
That'd be a great. I would take that.
2 + 4 × 5 says Victor's power lets him win. Probably. What does this bastard Krieg do?
I feel like Krieg. I feel like he's gonna have just like a berserk kind of fucking deal, like just just like basic berserk.
Does he berserk himself?
He is guts berserk himself.
He is guts berserk. He is Sans Undertale. What does Knight do?
Knight. Fuck. It's a name like Knight.
I'm the Knight.
I'm the Knight. It's Batman, dude.
Knight is Batman. What about Fog? Knight and Fog are a duo, by the way.
Knight and Fog are a duo?
Yeah, Knight and Fog are a duo. I'll tell you the general sort of... Hookwolf typically leads Storm Tiger and Cricket. So when you theme them knowing that they're close associates with this guy. Knight and Fog are a direct duo who have worked closely with Purity, who's more of a leader type, and then Crusader.
Yeah, so Knight and Fog. Well, then Fog has to be Robin. I feel like Fog might. I think I'm kind of getting like a ninja vibe from him, where he's like, "I move like the fog" or something.
Is a ninja moves
like a ninja
like Fog. So does he have like a mover power?
Yeah, like he could like turn into like a fog vapor or something.
Okay.
Yeah, but like only in like specific scenarios. Like there has to be like
a fog vapor in the right conditions. Okay. Anything more?
I don't think so.
So Knight is just Batman, no gimmicks?
Well, now I'm thinking about Knight, right? They kind of strike me as like both kind of like a ninja assassin duo. So I feel like Knight is gonna be like kind of like a more upfront, stronger face-to-face guy, and Fog is gonna be more of like a cloak and dagger type.
Batman.
Stab you in the back. Knight is like the sturdy like Oni who's got like the big ass fucking whatever the weapon the Onis have.
Remember that these guys follow the theming of either Germany or Viking stuff. Things that real life white supremacists like.
Okay.
So they're probably not going to be a ninja. I'm going to keep what you said about the power here. This is a cool power. And we'll say that this guy's like Batman, I guess. But but how do you want to if it can't be an Oni, how do you want to We'll erase Batman.
Um,
It's too constraining.
right. I don't fucking.
Okay, I'm
I
gonna
don't know.
think about it for
I
a second
imagine.
while I read through some jokes from the chat here. So,
Okay.
after 2 plus 4 times 5 had previously said Victor's power lets him win, probably, Greg says, of course, well known power, path to Victor. And then 2 plus 4 times 5 says, then Fog must be Catwoman, or that. Batman has tons of gimmicks. Oh, yeah, big studded club thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I was talking about.
Um, and so Greg says Max Anders already has one of Batman's superpowers, being rich.
That's his best power.
And then 2 plus 4 times 5 said Alabaster's power is that he's white. Wait, oops, I didn't mean to spoil that. Uh, Greg says, but like so white. And it's true. That is literally true. He's like so white.
It's just so white.
Um,
Um,
mhm.
I think Knight is actually going to be like he's gonna be like not like a knight, but like kind of like knight-ish armor, and I think he's gonna have like a sword or something, and he can like shoot like blood fucking beams or something out of it. He can like manipulate blood.
That's dope.
That'd be a cool
Knightish
power.
armor, has a sword, can shoot blood beams from the sword, can manipulate blood. Hell yeah.
I don't really know what manipulate blood necessarily entails, but because I don't know if he could just like walk up to a normal person, and just like manipulate their blood to go out of their head, and then just like
Well, see, what 2 plus 4 times 5 is saying is that'd be OP if it weren't for the Manton effect. Most stuff is kind of stopped by the limits of, like, contained body. Like, the human body, um, for instance, there is the character Marquis, who is a former villain in Brockton Bay. He can affect people's bones if he breaks tears their skin and their bone is exposed to air. But while their body is enclosed around it, while they have full, like, flesh, then he can't do this to them. But he can manipulate his own bones because his power is coming from within the vessel of his own body.
okay. So he could like use like his own blood to make like a like blood strains or something and like tie someone up or something.
Yeah, and I agree with kind of what 2 plus 4 times 5 just said. Can manipulate blood as long as it's not in anybody else's body. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
But so 2 plus 4 times 5 says, I feel like Knight could totally control his own blood with that power. Or her blood.
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think so too.
And then Storm Tiger. What is this character like?
I'm seeing like Tai Lun like from fucking Kung Fu Panda, like some sort of like he's gonna be like kind of like built, and I think he's gonna be like a like he has like some sort of like lightning kind of aspect to him, and be like a martial artist, I guess, with like lightning, and he can like maybe he can like turn into like an electricity bolt and like go like really fast behind someone. He can only do it for like a second though or something.
Okay. Built, has a lightning aspect, fights with martial arts, um, short-lived mover breaker to become lightning in close combat. Um, for movement. All right. That kind of sounds like a. That sounds close-ish to the power I had for my fake birdcage character who couldn't control becoming lightning and darting around the room, so he accidentally zapped his way through a bunch of people.
Oh no!
Um, Othala. What is it even?
Huh.
That doesn't give you really any indicators. I don't know what that word
No.
means off the top of my head. I mean,
Othala.
it
Uh,
is a particular rune symbol that represents Elder. I don't know what it really. It's a Proto-Germanic rune symbol, I guess, from Anglo-Saxon Firthorc writing system. Who
Oh Jesus.
knows? These fucking white supremacists. It's that
Let's just
symbol that
say.
2 plus 4 times 5 just put in the chat.
Oh, okay.
My name is Jay. My name is R. These are good cape names.
I'm just gonna say Othala is like a dark druid kind of deal. Like she can she makes like trees and stuff, or maybe not she, maybe he, I don't know. They like make like trees grow, but like they're like a dark druid, so it's like dead trees or some shit. And they like spread disease or something like that, I'm thinking. I'm just going with that based off the names. I honestly have no idea.
All right. Dark Druid makes dead trees grow, spreads diseases.
Yeah.
Yes. 2 plus 4 times 5 says, so poison ivy, except with zombie plants. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think that works. And then cricket. By the way, Othala is associated most closely with Victor and Rune. They're sort of like... They're not super young, but they're like undersider aged. You know, they're like teenagers, whereas most of these guys are actually adults. I think Victor might be like 20, and Othala's like 17 or 18, and then Rune's like actually like 15, like Taylor, and then basically everybody else is an adult.
Okay. Rune's starting early in his racism career.
Or her racism career.
Or her. Let's not be uninclusive of the white supremacists now.
Well, it's funny because uh I mean, you've mostly defaulted to he, but I think it's a near 50-50 split. Let me see.
Oh, is it?
So that's then there is one more man on this list than women.
There's one.
One more.
2 plus 4 times 5 says, I wonder if Taylor will be able to control cricket.
Yeah, exactly. These are the things we need to know.
Yeah. Okay, so what the fuck would cricket's power be? That's such a weird name.
What do crickets do?
They just like make noise. Oh, okay, maybe he's like got you know in Mario Kart 8, where you can get like that little like boom box that like explodes and like makes the sound wave around you? Or I'm thinking something like that. Like he can like scream. Like I think there's someone in like Marvel who does that. Who like screams. And, like,
Banshee.
yeah. Her.
Well, but there's more people than that. There's Banshee. There's that one pterodactyl mutant that I don't remember the name of.
Oh, 2 plus 4 times 5 says the POW block. Yeah. Yeah. I
No,
want to change that
sorry, it's
instead of,
not
like,
the POW block. It's the sound box. The
oh,
POW...
oh no, yeah, but I want to change her power or their
Oh,
power to
okay.
like
So
the POW block.
Cricket's power is the POW
Kind of sounds.
block. Okay.
Yeah, that's more. I don't know why that's more fitting. It's probably not, but.
And I think 2 plus 4 times 5 has the cricket symbol, or I don't know what this is. It looks like a dynamite to me. A dynamite with a little
Yeah, I
detonator
can't
next to
tell
it.
what that is.
Um,
It's a paddle. Cricket game. That's
Oh, okay. It just looked
yeah,
like a little bomb.
yeah, it took me a while.
She can play the fiddle really well. Also, I can't help but think of the stupid cricket emoji, like what that means to other people.
Yeah, me either.
Fucking throwing it back.
Oh, it's terrible, dude.
But anyway, so cricket has a POW block power. That's it.
Like, yeah, kind of like with their voice, kind of just like a, oh, and it makes like a kind of like a explosion like the Earth.
With his voice, you had said earlier. So okay, and then
His,
Rune
her.
with their
Why are there so
voice.
many pronouns these days?
Well, because these white supremacists would insist that you're one of the two.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, we're gonna go with his for now because that's what you had said earlier. So, well, we'll go through the game so far. Hook Wolf, is it a boy or a girl?
Of course, a boy for sure.
Okay. Krieg is a he.
Krieg's a he, yeah.
Knight is a he.
Knight's a he, yeah.
And then Fog.
Fog's a she.
Okay. And then Storm Tiger.
Storm Tiger is he.
And then Othala.
Thal's a she.
Cricket is a he.
Yeah.
And then Rune. We're
I
on the
think Rune's
runes.
gonna be a she.
She. And what does she do?
And I feel like she has like frost powers.
Channeling Professor Oak here, says Greg. Exactly.
I don't want to just have like generic ass frost powers though. Like Rune works with like Othala, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, they're both in like the younger group. I think
She's like
Alabaster and like Krieg's like upper management, like Kaiser, and I'd say he would probably in the past have been above Purity, and then like Alabaster, I think works directly with Kaiser as one of his teammates.
okay.
Anyway, yeah.
I feel like Rune, she's like an ice queen kind of deal, like an evil ice queen. I can't really think of like something cool you could do besides just like shooting ice and like frost stuff. But maybe her thing is like she can encase herself in like ice that's like hard as diamonds or something.
Okay, that can encase self in ice as hard as diamond.
So she's Elsa, says Greg. So like May from Overwatch, exactly, yeah.
So 2 + 4 × 5 says the words but racist about Victor, Rune, and Othala. And then Greg says, yeah, they're in the same clique. It's a big empire. And then yeah, you read the other two. So yeah, but I also mean like combat teams, like Kaiser goes into combat with Fenya, Menya, Krieg, and Alabaster, I think, and then typically Hookwolf goes into combat with Cricket and Storm Tiger. Then the 4 group of Purity, Night Fog, and Crusader seems to be the other thing that they've divided up. And I know they can all come together and fight on the same side, but that just seems to be their like tactics. So, but Victor, what does Victor do?
Not giving me a lot here, Victor. Victor. That's the guy who just his power just lets him win, right?
Yeah.
Um.
Also, I might be wrong about Alabaster. I'm only he's like not on screen much ever. Sorry. Victor couldn't come up with a cape name, so he just signed up with his own name. Says 2 + 4 × 5.
Is that his actual name?
Who knows?
I guess I'll find out. I don't know, man. Just like it's like there's nothing. I just have to completely make it up.
I actually don't see the connection in story as to his power and the name of his cape name. I'm not
Oh,
sure
really?
if there is one.
Let's just say he can like spit out like a poison that makes people like fall asleep. Or it's like a fog that comes out of his mouth actually. Like a cloud.
He spits out a fog cloud that makes people fall asleep. All right. Um. Yeah, his actual name is spelled with a K, so it's still a secret.
There.
What about Alabaster? We know for a fact from chat he's so white.
Alright.
But what
So
does
he's got
this
a
give him the
white
power to
power.
do?
Um so white. I feel like he's gonna use like a minigun. He's gonna be like just like a fucking textbook like uh over the top like American, and then his power is just gonna be like his body like runs off of some I'm gonna say like his body is like in like a heightened sense like at all times, and then he's just like stronger, more resilient than the average person. He's got like big ass muscles, and he's got like really good aim, a surprisingly good aim with a for a minigun. He's got like some sort of like eye thing, like a cyborg guy or something. I don't know.
He's so white. He uses a minigun. Over the top American. Body has heightened senses and super strength. Big muscles and surprisingly good aim with the minigun due to his cyborg eye.
That sounds ridiculous now that I'm hearing it.
I just like reading it so that it sounds like an AI generated it. And then Vale said he has the power to transform any area into a suburb. And then Greg said, "Oh damn, that's quite the shaker power." So our final member is Crusader, who works closely with Purity, Night, and Fog.
Okay. Crusader. Hmm. I guess Crusader is gonna have to be a she because I'm definitely missing a few she's. So Crusader will be a she. I don't know if I.
She.
Oh yeah, I did say Alabaster the guy. Crusader. She is. I think she's gonna be like the resident like kind of like support person of the group. Maybe she has whether that's like direct healing or maybe she has like some sort of like not clairvoyant but some power like kind of like lets her see just like through walls or something maybe. I feel like she's kind of just like got like support things. I'm trying to think of like specific examples.
Crusader
um
has 70 alternative accounts, which she uses to bash liberals on Twitter. JK.
oh, and I feel like she like kind of like glows a little bit, or she can make herself kind of glow, and she can like turn that up to like the extreme and like kind of blind anyone who's looking at her.
There's some power overlap here. We've got Purity and Crusader both having glowing powers that can blind people. We've got
Oh, that's true.
we got Victor and Fog. Kind of one spits a fog cloud, one turns into a fog vapor. Interesting. But does Crusader have anything else going on, such as good aim with a minigun due to his cyborg eye?
Um, Crusader, she just has like she has like a very like kind of just golden vibe to her.
Like golden armor.
Yeah, definitely golden armor. Like a circlet kind of thing also. Gold circlet. Or maybe like a platinum circlet.
Remember that it's pretty common, like almost all of these people don't have their faces public. I think Alabaster might because he's so white. Um but Crusader, she might be wearing like a full face helmet, as many armored people do.
Yeah. I keep forgetting that they're like racists.
Yeah, yeah, but you gotta remember also that they're uh like they're still in the Cape mindset where like racist or not, they're like concerned with hiding the. And I mean, real life racists are concerned with hiding their identity often too.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. Um, but Vale says Crusader can summon a warhorse by yelling "Charge!" and while riding the horse can convince cowards or crowds they are wrong by stabbing them. Um, yeah. That is the power of the Crusader. Um, yeah, I think that we have a good list of characters, and after we've seen them in action in the next few chapters, we will see just how right you were.
I don't think I'm very right.
Turns into a wolf plus one additional human hand.
He was the star, okay. I like
He is
I like
guts
Knight.
berserk.
Yeah, he's just didn't like elaborate on him at all. I do like Knight's power though. I think that would be a pretty cool power.
Can shoot blood beams. This is a very sword and sorcery based group. I think overall they've
Yeah,
got like
yeah.
6 or 7 members who are like knights or wizards.
They just kind of were like giving me that like vibe with their names, I guess.
Because these two wear armor. This guy wears armor. I mean,
Oh,
even
true.
Purity could be like wizard-ish if she just changed her image to fit in with these other fucking wizards. And not cool wizards. They suck. It's the opposite of when a character from Adventure Time will say, "Wizards rule." Because even those nerds are way cooler than these fucking nerds.
Yeah, these wizards are terrible.
Yeah. Um. The audience participation is for anyone who so wishes to talk about the kiss and rejection. I don't know if that's going to happen though, because there's no answers in the thing. See, this is my example of shitty wizards. 2 plus 4 times 5. Mentioning the KKK Grand Wizard. These are
Yeah,
real
those should
back alley wizards, says Greg. The kind of wizards that skitter away when you turn on the lights.
Ah.
Yeah. So I think we are moving into the done territory of the thing. I guess the only other world building is that they have a mid-tier mall along with the good mall and the strip mall.
A lot of like mini malls in this universe.
Yeah. Well, it's a very shopping-based town, I think.
Oh, okay.
They're like, because all the work for the industry dried up, so they're like squeezing the life out of it with these malls and stuff.
Yeah.
Tourism OPOP. 2 plus 4 times 5 is correct. Well, you know what? I'm gonna read out the links. Anybody can say all their final thoughts, and then I'll turn on the music, and Quinn can outro us.
Oh yeah.
So, as always, our Discord link can be found in the channel description or the stream description. The author of the work being discussed can be supported on Patreon at patreon.com/wildbow. The full text of the work is available for free online at parahumans.wordpress.com. There's also a fan-made audiobook of the entire work, which we actually listen to before the program each week, most weeks, at audioworm.rain-online.org. Really good stuff. And then starting at the old music, which is from CO.AG music. CO.AG music, and it is Born in a Broken World from the documentary music playlist. They're a great source of free music. As long as you plug them, they do not care if you use their stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
And then Quinn, any final thoughts as we ride out?
Really unfortunate chapter.
That she got rejected. That's the thing.
Well, she got like fucking beat down by Sophia, and she got rejected.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
It's just kind of like a lot.
I have this this problem where I'm pre-scaling it to how bad things get for her later.
Yeah.
Spoilers! It's a story, so it gets worse.
Spoiler, it's about to get worse.
Yeah. Anyway, they said good stream and cheers, and thank you, Quinn, for being on the stream. I think I'm gonna end it here.
Sweet, thank you for having me as always, and thank you for coming, everybody.
Bye.